Okay, so the very first thing that we do when we winterize and unwinterize the Fort Chiswell Mansion is come to this area. This is where the water pump is. You flip this switch on and off to turn the well pump on and off. There's also a breaker in the electrical closet. We'll see it next. Once the switch is off, you look in here. You have to come around here. There's a water tank. You hook a hose to the spigot on the bottom and put the hose outside. Open the spigot and drain the water out of the water tank. The other thing that's very important in this area, give me that light. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but I'm going to show you where it is. Get down here and right here, my hand is on a valve that goes to the kitchen building. This valve is what turns the water on and off to the next building, the kitchen building. It's off now, so there's no water in the kitchen building. If we were winterizing it, it would be open. We would leave it open until we drain all of the water so that it gets air and can backflow. Okay, and the other thing in this first area right here is, again, the power switch. This is what turns the well on and off. When you start to winterize it, that's the first thing you do. Cut the power off. That way everything you open up is going to be draining. It's not resupplying. The water heater down here, you got to reach in there and open up these valves. There's one on the hot and one on the cold. You got to open them up and let the water drain out of the water heater. Very briefly, we didn't mention there's a shutoff up here that's on a white PEX line. That's the water supply to the bar area that's directly above us. It gets winterized as well. All these valves will be, when the water's on everywhere, these valves will be open. That's how you'll get water supply to these areas. These areas are winterized still from when we shut down during COVID. The only area right now that is on is the bathroom down here and the beverage station that we're getting ready to show you next. Everything else from here up and out is off. So basically, turn the water off, start draining it at the lowest point, and you're going to work our way through the whole buildings, the whole up and out through all the buildings and floors and levels and bars and bathrooms, and opening up everything to drain the water down to the lowest point. That's it. Okay, when we do the first thing, always we're opening the sinks and the faucets, everything that is water on the lowest. So the mop sink here, open the handles. Coming forward, here's a sink. We're winterizing. We open everything when we're winterizing. There's shutoffs back here. They can stay open. It will drain down. The ice machine is important. You drink, there'll be water in the bin. When it's operating, there's water in it. You need to drain the bin out of here. Drain the water out of the bin in the ice machine. Make sure that the ice machine is off. The breaker's off in there. It won't try to run without water, but just make sure that it's off and the water is drained in the ice machine. That pretty much finishes everything in the what we call the waitress station, the area here, the prep and dishwashing room we'll talk about, and we will also do the outdoor ground floor bathroom area. Then we'll move up. Then we'll either decide to go to the kitchen building or upstairs, one of the two. We'll see where we wind up. Okay, now we're in the prep and dishwasher area. Again, every faucet wants to be open. So you're going to open the valves. You're going to open the faucet, lock the sprays open with the clips that are on them. Everywhere, every faucet. The water's on right now. So if it's off, the valve is shut, closed. To drain on the lowest level, there's two. There's one here underneath of the dishwasher. When you winterize it, you open it. You can slide a pan underneath it and catch what water runs out. Another thing, identical to over there, is another valve. These are on the back side of the toilets. When you open these, it will drain the water that is in the plumbing of the toilets from the other side where the bathroom is. Just open up all the valves, all the faucets, let the water run down. Next thing, very important, these shutoffs. There's shutoffs in the ceiling right here. 2 spigots, which will drain the water, put a bucket, catch it, and then there's 2 ball valves right beside the spigots. The ball valves are right here. This is what sends water. There's 2, a cold and a hot. This is what sends the water up to the next level and further up into the house. These are shut off right now, so there's no water. There's water pressure down here, but it's not allowing any water to go up into the house. We're on the ground floor level in the bathroom area. And in what we call the electrical closet, there are 2 shutoffs on the bottom with the red handles on the bottom. They are off right now because the water is on. They are drained. They are made for drains. Okay, so anytime you winterize, all of the faucets, the valves, and everything are shut, closed. The water in this zone is on right now, so everything that I'm showing you is shut off. So the next thing, just make sure your faucets are open to drain the water. The next area we're going to move to is pretty much the same thing in the other closet. 2 drains on the bottom. They are closed right now because the water is on. If we open them, we get water. They're shut off. When you winterize, you open it so all the water runs out. Now we're going to move on to the next area. All of the toilets, when you turn the water off, you flush the toilets and pour pink antifreeze into the bowls. That pretty much sums up this area, this bathroom room area on the ground floor. Okay, so we're assuming that the water was on and we're going to winterize. The water's on, we've turned it off down at the main supply, and the valve is open because the water has been on up here. We open the valves and spigots everywhere. In this area, what was called the dog trot that got enclosed, this is the only sink. That's the only place we need to worry about. We open those. We have 2 sinks in here. We have a hand sink and we have a pocket opener. We just open both of those. You'll hear the water gurgling backwards, going down. We come in here. We have 2 sinks in here. We have the 3 compartment sink. This is the ice cream. This is the ice cream parlor. There's the creamery. 2 sinks. Just open the handles. Open the handles and give them air. And then we're going to go down what I call tool world, where we store tools. And we're going to open up valves down there on the water heater so that all the water that doesn't drain back down to where the pressure tank is, that we talked about earlier, where the water supply to this building is going to come out on this end of the building and run through the water heater, out of the hose, out into the yard. That's where we're going next. Okay, so we're underneath of the kitchen building going into what we call tool world around here. Down here, there is another electrical service. We don't have to do anything. Well, the water heater. We can turn the water heater off, which is labeled in one of the boxes over here. It's not necessary if you pull the disconnect out. There's a knife disconnect in the box. You can pull it out. It'll shut the power off to the water heater as well, so it doesn't burn up when you drain the water. Up top here, you will see we have down here on the bottom, there's still a hose. This green hose is hooked to the drain on the tank. You're going to get a flathead screwdriver and open this valve from the little center right there. It takes a screwdriver, and then you're going to open up. You'll see that drain cock is open right now because we were still winterized from COVID. And then up top right here, there's a spigot. Usually about a gallon might come out of this after it's opened, because remember, we opened all the spigots and the faucets and we're draining from the original first area where we started. So the water can drain back towards the pressure tank and it can drain out this way as well. This is the lowest point in the entire property, but there's no water that comes out of the main house that will feed here by gravity, because it has to come up. It would have to come uphill with no pressure at this point for any water from the house to come out here. But in the kitchen building, the last bit of water will come out of here because it is the very lowest point in this building. That's it for this area. Okay, now that we've completed the kitchen building, we're moving up to the next level, the first level in the house above ground. It's a little powder room, a half bath, hidden right in behind here. Come on in, you're not gonna be able to see it from over there because I gotta shut this door and stick in here. So, simple. There's a toilet in here, a sink in here. Open up the valves on the sink, the spigots on the sink. Make sure the bowl is on and the water's going to be draining. It's draining out of the bowl from to downstairs. And we're going to add the water, the antifreeze to the bowl and the tank. That's it for in here. Okay, we rolling?
Yep.
All right, we're in the bar area right now. Pretty simple in here. The only thing we do is just open all the spigots. There's two sinks back here. Hand sink and a washing sink. Just open the spigots and anywhere where there's traps. Now I didn't talk about this downstairs, but I'm telling you right now. Anywhere where we have sinks or anything that has a trap, water will stand in a trap. That's the reason that's what it was designed to do, is to block odor. And eventually it will evaporate and you'll get an odor, but always when you're winterizing, wherever there's a trap, you look down here, there is a trap right here. There's one trap that takes care of everything here, right back there. So just pour enough water in to where the trap gets antifreeze in it so that it doesn't freeze and bust the trap. Okay, we've moved up to the next level. One bathroom. There is a bathroom that's plumbed on the other wall in the bedroom beside me. It should take care of draining itself and turn the water off. It probably is shut off from the ceiling below in the study. Probably doesn't have any water in the pipes in there. There's a shut off in the ceiling, I believe. But in this bathroom, it's on, it's active. It's winterized right now. We're going to assume that it is supplied with water. Again, open every faucet, bam, 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 bam. Flush the toilet, get the water out. Open all the faucets on the sink. There's a trap here, add some antifreeze. There's water standing a little bit in the bottom of the tank and the bowl, antifreeze, antifreeze. All these spigots are open. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are open. And not only is this one open, I know it doesn't look like there's a spigot there, and there's a good reason why. Because it is over here. This is the cartridge. Any cartridge that lays horizontal, not vertical, but horizontal, I have found that a little bit of water can freeze around the cartridge, and there's tiny little pieces of ceramic that if you don't remove it, can freeze and damage the cartridge and you'll have a leak. So any cartridge that's any stem that sits horizontal, I remove. It's simple to do. Just keep all the parts together exactly the way you take them out. Bam, bam, bam. Put them right back in the same way when you're ready to turn the water on. That's it. Rolling?
Yep.
All right, we're heading up to the very top floor. We've got a few spots up here. It's all in one area, one room, a couple of rooms that are connected that we need to look at. And that's where we are now. All right. So washer and a dryer. The hookup's back here. The hoses are disconnected. The water is open. The valves are open because the water is not on. Remember down in the prep and dishwashing area, I showed you the ball valves that sends water up. Those valves will send water to the bathroom on the floor below and all the way up to here. So these are open. The last time I used this washing machine, I think there was a leak. And I think it's because it didn't get the water taken out of one of the places in it to winterizing it prior to COVID. So be aware of that. The other area that we need to look at is over here. Is our water heater. You're going to bring a little bucket with you when you do this, because you're going to open these valves on the water heater, and any water that's standing in any of these lines or in the coils to heat it is going to come trickling out. Just leave them open. That's what you have to do in here. The water, the supply to the washing machine if you use it, and the water heater over here. Then you're coming back over here. We're going to open up the spigots, okay? And what do? Because there's a trap, bam, little antifreeze, okay? All right, same thing. Over here, opening up the valves. And you'll notice there's a diverter here that has a cartridge. I have had trouble with them freezing, so I removed those now. The cartridges are right here. They just screw in and the handle screws on and they're back in. So we're going to open up and I hang this hose somewhere, somehow. Can't remember how I did it, but I pulled a chair or something. Oh, there was a coat rack somewhere. Okay, out of the bedroom was a coat. And I just hang them up so the water drains out of it. At least hold them up and get the water out of the shower nozzle. The stems, the spigots are all open and the water is draining. And then again, over here, the toilet. We're going to flush the toilet, get the water out of the bowl, and then add antifreeze to the bowl and the tank. I failed to mention, since I was doing the water heater up here, there are 2 water heaters. One water heater for the top floor and one water heater that heats the rest of the water in the house below. The other water heater is in the very first area beside the power switch for the well pump. And just, if you didn't see it and you didn't do it, go back down there and do the same thing to the instant hot water heater that is beside the switch to the well that we did to the water heater up here. Open the valves, let the water drain out. I think that's everything.